Hi, I'm Roman Lysecki, CTO and co-founder for BG Networks. I'm happy to be here continuing our video series around cybersecurity, particularly in the context of life-critical systems such as medical devices. The broader topic that I presented in the previous video was on cyber resilience in general and what does that mean. And I'd like to dive into kind of the individual pieces that go into cyber resilience and kind of explore the details of each of those pieces, starting from the beginning, which is detection. If you want to design a system that has cyber resilience, you have to be able to detect those events that would trigger your resilience capability. And so that starting point is what you could think of as being detection, but it's not just detection. It's also looking at the various components of the system that you should be monitoring in general and essentially logging some of these security related events. So this concept of event detection and logging, if you actually look at the recent FDA cybersecurity for medical devices guidance document, one of the requirements they define as being a key component of secure design for a medical device is event detection and logging. From the FDA, the way they've described that, and I'd like to read this back to you exactly how they've described it in their document, is that event detection and logging are critical capabilities that should be present in a device and the larger system in which it operates in order to ensure that suspected and successful attempts to compromise a medical device may be identified and tracked. That's a pretty broad definition, and it's not necessarily prescriptive saying this is exactly what you need to implement within your device. And that's because the types of events you need to monitor are going to be something that are unique to your device based upon how it operates, what the interfaces is, what the user interactions are, what administrative context and controls that may be changeable within the system. But we can start to think through what are some of the common types of security-related events you would want to think about and consider for your device. So we can start with some of the obvious ones. Anytime there is an update to your firmware code, if you're going to deploy over-the-air updates, you should be logging all of those updates. You should be logging information specific to what version was it updated from and to, what triggered that update process, what server did you connect to, when was it updated. So this is the type of logging information you'd want to have for any of those firmware update processes. In addition to firmware updates, you can think of configuration changes. If there's for example, a Wi-Fi connection, and you need to be able to establish and store locally on the device the password for accessing a Wi-Fi network. If that Wi-Fi network is changed or the password is updated, that's another one of these security critical events that you should likely be logging in terms of what or who triggered the change, when was it changed, what was it changed to, and create that in a similar log format. And you can apply that to then anything beyond that in terms of any type of configuration change that could be part of an attack or an attempted attack. You want to be able to log so you can afterwards identify what happened within the system. Or you can have your cyber resilience, if it's analyzing those logs to determine how it should respond to an attack, you have the information stored there to be able to dictate what action should be taken. If your device has any sort of user access, such as an admin account where users logging into the device and that gives them some control of making those changes, not only are you tracking the configuration changes themselves, you can be monitoring and logging any user access to the device. When did they log in? When did they log off? What configuration changes did they do during that process? Put those in the log, timestamp them in the same way. So now you're really starting to piece together a lot of the information you want to be able to know in order to have cyber resilience, or to be able to, after the fact, use it for forensic data to be able to say, here's what happened with that attack. Now that I know what happened, I can figure out how to fix it. And then you can build new cyber resilience capabilities because you know, okay, if I ever see this happen again, I can respond automatically in this way. You can also look at access to any patient data on a medical device that's being stored. That's critically important to keep it safe. So if there are certain files within the system that store that patient data, you can log and access every update or read from those files. So again, you can consider how to put that into your log and what's critical. If you have an advanced intrusion detection system that's deployed onto your device, looking at either the network traffic or the software itself, any anomalous behavior triggered by that monitoring could similarly put into a consistent log format. So you have a full scope of the picture and you have this timestamp data that's available for when all of these events are detected. So each of those, now you start to think of, well, that's a lot of things you could log, and you have to be able to store them within your device. And so this is one of the considerations that will have to be made in terms of the security requirements of your device. How much space is available for the log? Are you going to be able to recycle the log? How do you then define security controls around the log as well to maintain that you have the integrity of your log, it hasn't been tampered with, that you have non-repudiation built into that as well. So each of these are considerations that once you start logging and implementing it, not only is the log itself part of your security requirements, but the added requirements on protecting the log as well need to be considered and put into your system. And so just kind of a good recap. I can't say exactly which of those features and how those requirements will be specific to your device, but some of the things I hope you can think about as you start to build in event detection and logging capabilities within your devices, starting to think through some of those considerations. We'll see you next time. Thanks.